older women did it all the time. That's why I always say older women always love me. Now, what was that? Hey, you guys, in this series, I'm going to start at the beginning. I know I said I was going to talk about everything, but there are some things that I'm not going to touch on right now until I'm able to get some counseling about it and figure out some things. But I am going to touch on pretty much everything in my life. So I'm going to start at the beginning this time. I'll just tell you a little bit about myself as of now. I have anxiety issues. I think they call it high functioning anxiety or something like that. I'm super critical about myself. I've had bouts with depression. I'm an introvert. I have love for people, but I can't do people a lot. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I could be around people, but then I need my own personal time. Lots of it. I need more time by myself than I do with people. Let's put it like that. I know for me to be this age, it probably sounds crazy, but I'm pretty shy. I don't open up to people like that, like talking about. I haven't been through depression in a long time, but I do know what it's like because I've been there. Got a lot of issues. My wife calls me OCD. My wife said that I have OCD. Plus she says that I'm selective. I'm not one of them people that has to shine, but we all have egos. I mean, mine is not super big, but I like to, you know what I'm saying? I like to know that I'm pretty good at things that I do. I'm really good with my hands. Anything that I kind of put my mind to, I can do it. Which brings me back to when I was young. I kind of wish I knew that about myself, because I think that I could be further along in life, if that makes sense. Or I may have been in some places that I may have thought of, I don't know. But I do know that we are where we are and we are who we are for reasons. So I do believe that. But I just think that if I had applied what I know, and that's always, I mean, hindsight is always 20/20. But my point is, I believe that I could have used my mind more than my body or being physical. If I've done physical stuff as far as work and different stuff like that, I've always been kind of good at that, no matter what it was. But anyway, I think that came from my upbringing and from my bloodline, from my dad, his dad. You know, they were all carpenters and mechanics. They did that type of stuff, and sometimes we tend to follow in those footsteps, even if we don't consciously do it. I think we do it sometimes subconscious. But anyway, I'm not doing these videos for sympathy or anything like that. I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me, because I have lived a pretty good life. My childhood wasn't all bad. I had a good childhood, pretty good adulthood. Life is what it is, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of things that we go through are for our better, you know, for our good. You know, some things we go through to learn some things we go through just to make us stronger, whatever the case may be. But anyway, like I said, I'm not doing these videos for sympathy or for anybody to feel sorry for me or to have a pity party or anything like that, because it's not that kind of party. I believe that these video series can help someone, and more so my children and my family. But anybody else that may need it, or anybody else that God may see fit to help through these, you know what I'm saying? because we all go through things. We all have our own stories. We all have our own lives. But sometimes what goes on with us could help somebody else, or could at least show somebody that they're not by themselves on these type of things. So it all started. I know I said I'm from New Orleans, but it all started, and I am. But it all started in Dallas, Texas at Parkland Memorial. I was born in Dallas. I don't know the situation. I thought that my parents were on vacation and I came then, or I don't know if my parents moved there for a while to work or what. I don't know the story on that, but I know that my mother and father are from New Orleans, and they just so happened to be in Dallas that time. I had family in Dallas, an uncle, an aunt, different people like that. So I don't know the story on that, but that's where I was born. I was born in Dallas. I was raised in New Orleans. I know Dad did construction work, so he could have been out there doing some work or whatever the case might be. As far back as I can remember, I was in New Orleans. So we started off, my mother's mother lived on Garden, 2518 Garden Street. That's back of town, Lower Ninth Ward. My dad's mother lived right around the corner on Dursion Wall. Can't remember the address, but it was literally right around the corner. I don't remember my grandfather except for pictures one picture that I saw of him, and then stories that I hear that were told to me. Mother's mother passed at around 93 or 94. My dad's mother passed in her 60s, I believe. Back to the beginning, grew up in the Ninth Ward. Started off on Garden Street. That's far back as I can remember. I believe we moved to, I know we lived on Tupelo Street, which is also in the Ninth Ward, right around the corner from Garden. And then we moved to Metropolitan Street, which was kind of not crazy, but I don't know if you guys remember the standoff or the shootout with the police and the Black Panthers and the Desire Project. But Metropolitan, where we live, was actually right around the corner from the Desire Project. So I just remember being real young. I don't know why we were out of school that day, or I was sick that day, because I can't remember if my brother was home or not. I don't think he was. I think I was sick from school that day, and all I remember was we were outside, my mother and whoever she was talking to, probably the neighbor, and I was outside playing or whatever. And I don't know if it was National Guard or the police that came marching down the street and then telling everybody to get in the house and all of that kind of stuff. We got in the house. They told us to get on the floor, and it was crazy. It was then a little while later, all you heard was gunshots. I mean, like, it was a war zone for real. And I remember Daddy had Lincoln with the suicide doors. It was Burgundy, I believe. But they shot that thing up. I remember they had police at each door, or National Guard, or whoever it was. But anyway, that was one of the memories that I had from being that young. And then even around that time, like, when we were going across the canal and come back, because that's where we were originally from, back of town across canal. So we would come back across the canal, and I remember one day, this particular day, we were in the car with my daddy, and my brother was with me, was with us. So we were in the back seat, and Daddy had a 30-30. It was a rifle he had. What happened was, the people in the project would stand outside. They called it neutral ground back then, but I even forget. They call them a medium now, but we called them neutral ground. But they would stand out there, and all of the white people that would pass, they were throwing rocks and old skates and bricks and whatever they could find. They would just throw them at their cars and stuff like that. Daddy had his rifle. He had the rifle up against the windshield, like You know what I'm saying? Try it if you want or whatever. But I don't think they were bothering people like us. You know what I'm saying? But that was the whole thing. And being a young kid, it was like, that was one of the coolest things. Me and my brother, we were like kids, but it was so much fun. You know, it was like fun, even though now we think back and it was really nothing fun about that time. You know what I'm saying? But those are some of the little fond memories that I had. And then I remember I was liking this little girl. I don't even know if it was like my first little crush or whatever. And I remember sitting on the curb with my dad. I don't know. And if I didn't tell you before, me and my dad and my brother, we were like all like brother. We were like really, really, really close. You know what I'm saying? We talked about anything and everything and just everything. We were super close. But anyway, I remember sitting on the curb. We were living on Metropolitan, and I think this little girl name was Princess or something like that. I can't even remember what she looked like. She probably had long, cold black hair, because my grandmother, that's another story. On my grandmother, on my dad's side, she had this long, pretty, like, Indian hair. And I know we get caught up on that kind of stuff, but anyway, that was me at the time, you know. And she was light skinned, you know, yellow, red bone, high yellow, red bone, long pretty hair. That was my grandmother, and she used to let me comb in her hair, play in her hair, and stuff like that. So I imagine this little girl probably looked something like that. Can't even remember what she looked like, but I remember my dad sitting on the curb with me because we were talking. And I'm young. I promise you, I'm really young. I can't even remember how old I was, because I know the most stuff that I remember is from, I think, the age 9. That's when we moved on Garden Street down 1514. That's where down, that was on Claiborne and Garden. But anyway, back to the story. We were just sitting there, and I was really shy. I've been shy. I was really shy at the time. And I remember my dad just telling me what to do, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. I don't know where all of this little stuff, but I'm telling you, man, I can remember these things like it was yesterday. But anyway, he telling me, you know what I'm saying? You the man, you know, he pumping me up like, don't never be scared to talk to nobody. I don't care if it's a man or a woman or a boy or girl, whatever. Always, you know what I'm saying? Always, but that's never been me. Anyway, we had the little conversation. He was asking me what the girl name was. I told him Princess or something like that. I don't know, but anyway, those are some of the little fond memories that we had. And then, like I said, my dad and my brother and myself, we used to wrestle and I mean all kind of stuff, man. But I'm probably getting off subject, but I did say sometimes I would ramble because I remember those good times, and to me those were good times. I had some bad times, but they weren't, you know, but we'll get into that. But anyway, again, so we moved from back of town. I think we moved on to Tupelo. Yeah, that was Tupelo. We moved on Tupelo. I think after we moved on to, I can't remember which was first, Tupelo or Metropolitan. But Metropolitan, like I said, was around the corner from the Desire Project and right across the street from, it was right on the corner, right across the street from Carver High. And I actually went to school over there. It wasn't Carver. I went to the elementary school over there. Yeah, it was Edwards, because I know Hardin. I went to Hardin back of town. That was in the 9th Ward, and then when we was over across the canal, I went to school at Edwards, which was on the same campus, I believe, with Carver, but it was like little bungalows or whatever you call them. Metropolitan. That's where I got my first my first war wound injury. Me and my brother was playing, running around the house, and back in them days, you know, the little sewer pipes and water lines, stuff like that, used to stick up out of the ground. So we running around the house. I trip on one of those and gash my knee open with probably a broken bottle or something like that. And then mother wrapped it up. And then I think when daddy got home, he took me to the emergency room or whatever. Or they both took me, I can't remember, and they cleaned it out with some, and you know, everybody went to charity back then. Well, everybody from our side of town. And then they cleaned it out, did all of that kind of stuff like that. I had a lot of fun when I was a kid. Most of my fun time, or when my dad was living, and even my mother, she made life fun. She did things. She taught us things. She made us learn stuff. That was my mother's biggest thing. Learn your timetable. Learn your math. And I was pretty decent at math. They thought I was really good, but I think I was decent. And my dad was work. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing that I wanted to touch on, that I had a conversation with my wife a while back. I said, you know, a lot of things that we were taught was because they were taught that, but some things they left out because they didn't know. And I don't hold my parents responsible for anything, because they did, I believe they did a great job with us. You know what I'm saying? It was 5 of us. And the things that we weren't taught, it was only because they didn't know. But what I was getting to was that my dad always taught us to work hard for what you want. Well, that's what he was taught. But in a sense, it stopped there, and that's what I did my whole life. But it's not only working hard for what you want. You got to work hard. You got to learn how to make your money work for you. You have to learn how to move your money. You have to learn how to use your mind. You know what I'm saying? It's not only to work hard for what you want. There's other parts of that goes along with that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying that from experience, because I've worked hard. And the one thing about me that I've never really stayed one place too long. I don't know what that was. I think I just got bored with it, or I just got tired of doing the same old mundane thing. You know what I'm saying? Until I got older and I realized, you know what? You need to start preparing for retirement, whatever. And this was just this was just recently, because I moved around a lot. And you know what I'm saying? I'm getting off track, but I moved around a lot. But that's not to say that I didn't work hard. I worked hard. I mean, I think I had my first job when I was like 12 or something like that, but I was doing other stuff even before then. You know, working with my dad on the weekend and doing little stuff for other people, you know, as a kid, whatever. But the most important part of that work hard and get whatever you want is more to it. It's you do have to work hard, but you have to learn the system and learn the process. You know what I'm saying? You don't just work hard and don't know how to save your money. You don't just work hard and don't know how to invest your money. You don't just work hard and don't, you know, try to do the things, and I'm not an expert on it. I don't even know. Even at 57 years old, I don't know. I'm still learning little stuff. But anyway, just to touch on that, just to say, you know, that's who my mother and my daddy, you know, that's who they were. You know what I'm saying? Mother was about the books and learning things. You wasn't just gonna play, and don't read something or don't learn something. And you couldn't just say, oh, I know it. You had to stand in front of her and do it. Excuse me. And Dad was like, you ain't just gonna play, and don't do some work. It's been nights where he may have told me and my brother to come to clean some wood because he used to do construction work. They used to tear down these old buildings with this really good wood and different stuff like that. He would bring it home and we would have to clean the nails out of it and stack it, which later on led up to us building our garage in the yard. But anyway, so it was balanced. It was balanced, and they weren't just firm all the time. You know what I'm saying? They played with us. They joked with us. Like I said, I said my dad, we used to wrestle and all kind of stuff. It was a good childhood, except for a few minor glitches. Well, I won't say minor, but a few little glitches. But again, I'll talk on that later on when I'm able to get some clarity or able to get some counseling or whatever on that. But for the most part, I had a really good childhood, except for, I just want to touch on this before I close this video out or whatever. Be mindful what you say to your children, because like I said, and I don't like to get deep all the time, but I'm just keeping it real. This is why I'm doing these videos. Be mindful what you do to you say to your children or anybody else's children, because children are like sponges and they soak all of that shit up. And a lot of us carry that shit through life with us. You might say no, it might not be the same for you. But I'll say 7 out of 10 people do. You know what I'm saying? And it affects their lives now. You know what I'm saying? And you say things sometimes even in good, you know, it's not a bad or talking bad about somebody. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I was fat, so I had these little fat puffy jaws. And my daddy didn't want nobody cutting my hair, so I had this big afro with this little curly hair. So they used to always tell me, and I remember my cousin Marjorie was the main one. I mean, older women did it all the time. That's why I always say older women always love me. Nah, but for real, on a real note, I remember my cousin Marjorie used to say, "Ooh, come here, let me pinch them fat little jaws. Let me pinch them," you know, and to them it was fun. Not just that, but a lot of things that I heard as a kid kind of pushed me more into where I was already as far as being an introvert and being to myself. You know, people used to say, like I said, I done heard all the fat jokes, but that was kids, but I'm talking about adults. Be mindful what you say to your children. Like I hear people now, "Oh, his ass bad," or "she bad as hell," or you telling these people, and then I've heard people say, "You just like your pa, you just like your mom, you this, that, and the other, you're mean." They used to say I was mean, but they don't know why I was mean. I wasn't mean just to be mean. For whatever reason, and I do have reasons, and it's not excuse, but I have a reason for being who I am. You know what I'm saying? Things happened to me. Things were in my head. Things were said to me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, man, nobody can say nothing bad about my mom. I love my mother, and I know she loved me. But there were some things she used to say. She used to call me mean and hateful just because I was fussing all the time. But that's because she didn't know. You understand what I'm saying? And the relationship I've always had with my mother, she was never like abusive like that. But those little things, you know what I'm saying? Because even now, when people say I'm mean, or the main things that get me is when somebody tell me I'm mean, or either I'm selfish. I hate those two things for whatever reason, because I know I'll give a person my last, whether it's my time, whether it's my whatever. That's who I am. That's just who I am. But anyway, some things trigger us. Just like I said, They used to tell us we was greedy. They used to tell us we was, bring your little fat tail in here. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, look at that little fat tail. Ooh, that, you know what I'm saying? Even though it was on, from their point, it wasn't they weren't trying to belittle you or be mean towards it. Those things still stuck. You know what I'm saying? And on top of the fact that I was already introverted, I was already to myself, I was already not the you know what I'm saying? Not really a fan of myself already. Those things lead up to crazy foolishness that adults do. You know what I'm saying? And you might think it's not true, but there's studies on this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, just be careful what you say to your children. You know what I'm saying? Because even though you show them love, and you'll, God forbid, but you'll kill somebody behind them, it's still things that stick with certain people. Some people, it's like ducks, water off a duck's back. They hear it and don't hear it. But other people hear it and it sticks with them. Like I say, I don't like to always be so deep. I've shared some fun times, and I've had a lot of fun times. I've moved around a lot. I lived in the Ninth Ward. I lived on the West Bank. I've lived in Dallas. I've lived in California, all over California. I moved around up there. I'm going to wrap it up because I'm kind of rambling. These video series are not going to be all about, woe is me, I'm so this, I'm so that, this was wrong, that was wrong. You know what I'm saying? I had a good childhood. I had good parents. I had good cousins and good aunts and uncles. You know what I'm saying? And I had a good support system. Even now, I have a great support system. You know what I'm saying? It was good times in marriages that I had. It was good times in relationships that I had. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying my whole life was all bad, but a lot of things, I believe, and I could be wrong, but I think a lot of things from my childhood comes out in who I am today. You know, and so I probably left out a lot, but we still got a lot of ways to go with these videos. Y'all just stay tuned, and thanks for watching. And I'm just gonna keep it 100 with you. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't like when people do that. A lot of people can't do that. A lot of people don't think that you should do that because, like I said, we were all taught what goes on in my house stays in my house. Or what's my business is my business, you know? I mind my business and stay out of yours. But I am going to get to the most important topics and things that we need to talk about as far as, you know, all of the things that I need to get out. And I just pray that God allows me the time to do that, you know what I'm saying, before I leave this earth. And again, I'll try to be as transparent and as timely, and I'll try to keep these videos coming pretty regular. It's crazy, but it's me. It's weird, but it's me. I'm a little crazy, I'm a little weird, but we all got stuff. That's part of my stuff. So, one love.